Before we dive into the charts, I wanted to tell you about my Tuesday morning. I woke up and before I even opened my eyes, I just felt like my whole body was vibrating. Immediately, I felt like my brain was running a marathon about things that haven't even happened yet. And I felt this pressure not only to be productive, but it felt like I had so much mental chatter, like I was trying to talk a mile a minute in my own head. And just this feeling like I had to do everything all at once. And for those of you who are old enough, you might remember when you were trying to find a radio station and you were trying to find it in between two different ones, and that's what it kind of felt like to me. Like I was stuck between two radio stations and all I was picking up was white noise. And so I took a moment and I just breathed, right? And that's when I realized I wasn't actually anxious. I was just picking up on the frequency of this massive Gemini transition, and it's hitting us actually starting today on April the 23rd. And for a lot of us sensitives, we can easily mistake this collective energy for personal anxiety. And I want you to comment and let me know if that resonates with you. You can let me know if you've been feeling like you're vibrating at a frequency that isn't yours lately. Because if you have, then you're definitely going to want to stick with me for the next 15 minutes because I'm going to talk about what the Gemini Ingress is, how it can impact you as a sensitive. I'm also going to give you 3 practical tools to help you stay grounded during this time. Plus, I'm going to give you my 3-minute emergency circuit breaker exercise. And it's a very specific technique that literally unplugs your nervous system from the collective Gemini noise that's happening right now. So if you do feel like your brain is kind of short-circuiting and you quite literally can't afford to miss this then, because it really is the difference between ending your week in this burnout crash or really riding the electric wave into your best creative ideas yet. And if you're excited to hear all about this, then go ahead and drop me a yes in the comments below. And while you're there, you can give me a hashtag live if you are watching this live and a hashtag replay if you're watching this on the replay. And if you are new here, I just want to welcome you to this channel. I'm Jennifer and I'm your compassionate, loving ascension guide. And I help empaths, sensitive, and spiritual seekers turn their overload, right? All the emotions and everything that's just piling up on you into your greatest intuitive superpower. But before we dive into the astrology, if you do find this helpful, I want you to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. I do these deep dives for every major lunar cycle to help you stay really grounded and centered in your own authentic self. So, before we look at the planets, I do have a question for you to help us get started. And so my question for you today is, if you could mute the world's noise for just 1 hour today, what's the first thing you would do with that silence? So just kind of tune in for yourself, right? What would you do for that 1 hour? So drop it in the comments. I really want to see what your soul is actually craving right now. Okay, while you do that, I'm going to start to talk a little bit about how to navigate this Gemini ingress. So let's start by defining what is an ingress. When we look at an ingress in astrology, we are talking about planets moving from one zodiac sign to another zodiac sign. But this week, around today, the 23rd through the 25th, it really is a big one. We're going to have 2 major planets. We're going to have Venus and Uranus move from the stable, grounded, earthly sign of Taurus into the mutable, airy, chatty, social butterfly sign of Gemini. And so the first one I want to talk to you about is Venus. So with Venus, it's going to happen on April the 24th, and Venus governs over our connections, our relationships, and how we find pleasure. And in Gemini, this energy becomes about connection via communication. So there's going to be this collective need to talk and to share and for intellectual connection. right? So instead of like really emotional, deep, it's going to be more on the intellectual side. And all of this is kind of going to feel like it's on overdrive since we're in Gemini. And then we're going to have Uranus. So Uranus is going to enter Gemini on April the 25th. And this is a real kicker because Uranus is the planet of awakening and radical change. And you can also receive sudden flashes of insight. And it's going to stay in the sign of Gemini for 7 years. So all the way until 2033. And Gemini, like I said, is the sign of the mind. It rules over communication and our immediate environment. So what does this mean for us? It means that we're beginning a 7-year cycle of revolution on how we actually process information. So, why can this be really hard for us empaths and sensitives? Well, it's because of that Taurus-Gemini contrast. Since Taurus is grounded and slow and tangible and quiet, I want you to think of it like a peaceful meadow. Versus Gemini, right? I want you to see Gemini like this really busy marketplace where it's talkative and loud and fast and electric and multidimensional. And as empaths and sensitives, we tend to absorb the collective baseline energy. And so we're going to go from a quiet meadow to a very crowded and loud marketplace. And that can be really jarring to our nervous system and to our energy body. And so what it might feel like in your system is having that either mental noise, or maybe you feel like you have a scattered focus where you feel like you have 20 tabs open in your brain and yet you can't complete one single thought. Anyone feeling this right now? I know I have. Comment and let me know. You might also experience sudden flips in your relationships. And that's because with Venus being involved, relationships, whether they're friendships or even romantic relationships, that felt really stable last month might suddenly feel misaligned or just too demanding right now for you. And another way it can show up is you might have this impulse to escape or to unplug. And that's because Uranus rules over electric breaks. And so you might feel this desperate urge right now, maybe to delete your social media accounts. I've been hearing people say like, oh, they were going to drop TikTok or Facebook or YouTube. Just kind of notice for yourself if you're feeling this urge to drop them or to close them or maybe just to hide them for a little bit. Or maybe even this feeling like you want to just disappear for a few days and like go off and camp or hike or take a vacation, like just needing this break right now from life. But there also are some gifts of Gemini. So I want you to know it's not all challenging. If you can manage the noise, then having Uranus in Gemini gives us empaths and sensitives some really incredible gifts. You might experience sharpened intuition right now. So you might notice that some of your psychic flashes may be much faster or clearer during this time. You might also have more of a creative inspiration flow. So if you've been feeling stuck in your creative flow, then I want you to get ready for some sudden downloads of ideas and just be really open to receiving them. Okay, so let's go over how you can survive the shift. I want to give you some things you can add to your toolkit. The first I want to point out is that we want to use Taurus to help us anchor into Gemini. And what I mean is that while the sun is still in Taurus right now until later this month, I want you to use that earthy energy. So I encourage you to walk barefoot, right? Whether that's on the grass or on a beach, but you want to make that connection to the earth. You also want to eat more like whole food, kind of plant-based earth foods. You could think of comfort foods like potatoes or stew or root vegetables, something that just feels like you're connecting more to the earth. And I also want you to spend actual physical time, maybe with your own hands in the dirt. So if you can be by a beach, put your hands in there. If you like gardening, once again, you can do it that way as well. The next one is to ritualize the unplug, right? So what I mean by that is I don't want you to do a lot of doom scrolling on your phone. With Uranus being in Gemini, this really can fry your own nervous system. And so I want you, especially if you give it full rein, right? I know some people can get really caught in looking at social media for a long period of time. So I want you to pick 24 hours between April 24th and April 27th to do a complete digital Sabbath. No phone, no news, no social media. And I want you to comment below and let me know which days that you will be taking a technology break. And the last one is about boundaries, really having that check-in with yourself. We just had a really powerful new moon in Aries on April the 17th, which was conjunct, so right next to Chiron, the wounded healer. And so you really want to use this mental Uranus energy to see clearly where you still need to draw a boundary, a hard boundary for a lot of you in your life. So I would love to hear from you now. Which of these strategies most resonates with you? You can type it in the comments so that I know which one you are going to prioritize this week. Okay, so now I want to share with you my 3-minute toolkit, right? My emergency breaker. And I can see here in the comments that it looks like this is really resonating with you guys. And you're really feeling that static feeling that I've been talking about. So I've told you a little bit about why it's happening with the whole Gemini ingress. And I've given you some practical tools that you can start doing. But I don't want to just give you the why. I also want to give you the how. Like, how do we actually stay in our bodies when the collective volume feels like it's at a 10 right now? So I'm going to walk you through my 3-minute emergency circuit breaker technique. This is my personal red button for when I feel an empathic overload coming on. And if you're watching, I want you to put your phone down or maybe just prop it up, because I want you to do this with me right now so that we can shift this energy together. So we're going to start by first telling your brain that you are here, like in the room that you are in right now, not like somewhere out in the clouds, right? I need you to bring your physical attention to your body. And now I want you to look around the room that you're in, and I want you to name 5 things that you see out loud. So once again, you're doing that mind connection. So see 5 things in the room and say them out loud. And now I want you to either touch the fabric of your skin, or if you're sitting at a desk or in a chair, you can feel the fabric of the surface that you're sitting on, or like I said, your desk, right? But we're looking to feel the texture. And this is going to help us to ground our spirit back into our physical senses. So I want you to remember, you're not just a frequency, you are also a human in a room. Okay, so let's move on to step 2. Now we're going to hit, or minute 2, we could say, hit that off switch for your nervous system. I want you to take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, I want you to make a low pitch humming sound. And you can even do it by just doing a long M. So let's do it together. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, I want you just to go and just really feel that vibration in your own chest. That vibration is actually shaking off all this mental static that isn't yours. And now let's go on to the 3rd minute. We're going to call this the Taurus drain. I want you to gently close your eyes now. So even though the energy in the sky is moving into Gemini, right, into Gemini air, the earth is still beneath you. So I want you to visualize heavy copper wires extending from your spine, going deep into the cool, dark soil of the earth. And now allow any gray static or buzzing that's in your head to drain down those wires back into Mother Earth. It's not yours to carry anymore. And as you give permission and allow this to happen, Mother Earth will transmute this energy back into unconditional love. And now I want you to whisper to yourself, I am grounded, and this energy is not mine. And once again, repeat it again. I am grounded, and this energy is not mine. And now take a slow breath in and slowly exhale. And when you're ready, with no rush, you can open your eyes and come back to me. And I want you to see how you feel in real time. Even if you feel just 10% lighter or more in your body than you did just 3 minutes ago, I want you to go ahead and drop me a heart in the comments below. And let's see all those hearts wash away any static that you may have been feeling. If you have enjoyed today's astrology update, then I do encourage you once again to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you don't miss these energy updates and healing processes specifically for empaths and sensitives. I want you to remember to like this video, hit that notification bell to receive more content like this, and don't forget to share it with a fellow empath or sensitive. And as we close for today, I want you to remember that even though the world is getting noisier, you don't have to become part of the noise. Whenever you feel like it's too much, I want you to remember that you're just feeling the shift. I want you to do that 3-minute emergency circuit breaker technique and really just be really gentle and loving to yourself this week. And with that, I want to thank you so much for spending your time and energy with me. I'm sending you so much love from my heart to yours, and I look forward to seeing you on the next live. Bye, everyone.